we have a special person coming to our meeting. If you want to go ahead and give us a little bit of an introduction to our guests for the evening.
Absolutely. We are so thrilled, and thank you so much, Drew Kessler, for joining us tonight. He's a busy man, and he has tons of passion and time for Rotary. But I also love the fact that he models working full time and making Rotary part, but being able to have it as part of your life, but not the only part of your life. So as a working governor, I salute you in that, Drew. Drew is about to serve as for our zone 28, as well as zone 32 as the Rotary International Director for the next 3 years. So he takes that role as of July 1, and we are absolutely thrilled. It's an extraordinary honor because Drew is believed to be one of the youngest RI directors ever. And I know that his home club and his home area of Hudson Valley, New York, are pretty proud of him. The zones 28 and 32 cover a large area of upper USA, Canada, Bermuda, the French Islands, the Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. There are 17 directors around the world. So Drew is one of 17 directors around the world, volunteers on our Rotary International Board. He's a member of the North Rockland, New York Rotary Club. He is, in his day job, a senior vice president, commercial real estate for M&T Bank. M&T Bank has been a fantastic supporter of our RILA program, so thank you for that. He joined Rotary at the age of 20, and he really believes in networking opportunities and is passionate about the service that we can provide locally and globally. I think you're going to find him warm, eloquent. He's also the father of 5 children, and so he brings family and work into Rotary and vice versa. Thank you for being with us, Drew, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Ann, and thank you for sharing those priorities, because I will tell you that they are spot on. And if we all can find a way to follow those, I think we're going to find success in our club and in the Rotary world. So thank you for that. I was actually in your neck of the woods on Saturday, because I'm proud to tell you that my daughter, at the age of 20, graduated at the University of Buffalo. So I was at graduation in Buffalo this past Saturday. So
horns up, Drew, horns up.
That's right. That's right.
That's wonderful. And welcome, Drew. It's Lisa Bishop here.
Thank you, Lisa.
Hi there. Hi. So how we're going to conduct this is it's free flowing. And I thought I could start with some Rotary rapid fire with you, if you don't mind. Do you have about 15 minutes with us for sure?
Go for it. If I don't know the answer, I'm just going to make it up.
Questions. Oh my gosh, this is like the worst nightmare here, my poor needy cat. So I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions, and you have like 20 seconds to answer each question. Okay?
Go for it.
You can't go any longer. All right.
Well, if we're gonna go 15 minutes, I only have 20 seconds. That's a lot of questions.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions here for you, Drew. We have a lot of knowledge to impart on all of us. When and why did you join Rotary?
When I was 20. Why? Because I was asked by my next door neighbor, and he told me I was going to meet the movers and shakers of my community. I was just starting my professional career, so how could I possibly say no?
Great. Why did you stay?
Why I stayed? Because I was completely impressed the minute I walked through the door, because I was treated as an equal. I was with people significantly my senior, and I felt I had no business whatsoever sitting across the table from them, but they treated me just like any other Rotarian, and I thought that was such an amazing thing. And from there, I was absolutely hooked.
So you felt like you were recognized and embraced and respected, even with your age, is what you're saying, but also mentored. Yeah, that's very important. Why did you stay, and what is your Imagine Rotary for 22-23? What do you imagine?
My Imagine is the same this year as it's going to be next year. And my Imagine is to make sure Rotary is going to be here 100 years from now, because I am all about making sure Rotary is there for my kids and my grandkids.
And I'm giving you 10 more seconds. So in 30 seconds, what is your elevator speech about Rotary? You know, we're going up to the 15th floor. What are you going to tell me about Rotary?
The easiest thing for me to tell you about Rotary is Rotary changed my life. And I'm so sincere when I tell you that every member of my family has been touched by Rotary. There's not a day that goes by that I am just so blessed that I'm part of this organization. And I will always take so much more from it than I'll ever be able to give back to it.
And what does your family think about Rotary?
Well, it's been with them. They're literally my kids, my 5 kids, their entire life. As I mentioned, Dylan, my oldest, just graduated UB. I joined Rotary 3 weeks before she was born. So every one of them has been touched. She actually did her sophomore year of high school in Rome, Italy for youth exchange. My son, who's now 19, was an interactor, as my oldest was. Credits Ryla as one of the best experiences he's ever had in life. My 17-year-old routinely serves the homeless and is very active in service. My 10-year-old just started an early act in his elementary school, which I'm really, really proud of. And my 6-year-old is now going to be the vice president of that early act club. So they're all in.
Do you get a suit jacket when you're vice president of early act?
Yeah, listen, he has his blazers. You'll see him in Houston.
I'll see him. Oh, I can't wait. Oh my gosh. Okay, so for the next question, how do you balance? I got to put my Houston hat on here and show you. How do you balance it all? How do you balance family, work, and Rotary? That might take a minute. I don't know.
The way I get a minute on this one?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The way I balance it is really I bring it all together. I do everything I possibly can to make sure everybody understands who I am and where I'm from. I'm from M&T Bank, and I'm a banker, and I'm proud to say that. So I bring my work into Rotary, and I make sure my employer realizes the importance of the organization. And from a family perspective, I do everything I possibly can to make sure some or all of my family is with me when I go on my Rotary adventures, right? Now, that's not every time, but any chance I get, I'd much rather be at a Rotary event with them than have to miss dinner with them. And that's kind of been my motto for the past 20 years. And to that point, in next Wednesday, we head to Houston for 13 days because we've got a couple meetings before and after. And my wife, who's also a Rotarian, past president of her club, past assistant governor, current district service chair, and our 2 youngest will be with us. And that's how I'm able to do it. I bring it all together.
How do you take care of yourself and stay well? This is a balancing act.
Yeah, so I don't know it any other way, right? I always feel like I have a million balls in the air, but that's the way I like it. I get my sleep, I get my exercise. I'm a runner. I'm into hot yoga, so I just find a way to cram it all together. But I will tell you, almost every minute of my day is pretty scheduled that I've got something going on, and I've been fortunate that I'm pretty good at multitasking and focusing. So because of those, I guess, skills, I've been able to do some things maybe others have had obstacles doing.
Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Oh, that's a good one. I should get brownie points even though she's not on this call, but I would tell you who inspires me is my wife. And the reason why she inspires me is she is the greatest partner somebody could have. She supports everything that I do, and that to me is what it's all about. And I'm only able to do any of this because I have her. If she wasn't home holding down the fort, or she wasn't the one who was telling me I can, then I'm nothing. And she taught me something very, very valuable years ago, and she's 1000% spot on. And I try to go through this every time I say yes, but she says when you say yes to something, you say no to something else, and that's, it can't be any truer, that you just have to make the right choices and the right yeses in life. So she inspires me. Is this being recorded? I need to send this to her.
Yeah, it is. Yes, very good. I'll remind her of that when I meet her in Houston.
Please do. I gotta earn my brownie points.
Your wife is also involved in the district governor-elect partner training. So my partner Lionel got to meet her and know that. Thank you so much for that, sharing our lives. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself in Rotary. That I could say with 100% confidence. In 5 years, if everything goes smooth, I'll be doing exactly what I'm doing today, because I really love it. I love my job. I love being a father, and I love being a Rotarian. So I would like to think if all the stars align, I'll be moving on the same path I'm moving on. What's your favorite area of focus? My favorite area of focus as of right now, I have to say, is the environment, right? I mean, it's so topical, and a shameless plug, we have 2 zone events coming up next year. We're having symposiums focused on the environment, and they're open to all Rotarians. This is not a senior leader thing. This is anyone, Rotarian, non-Rotarian. We have a cruise leaving out of Manhattan going to Bermuda, 5-day cruise over Labor Day. We're actually doing a service project. When we get to Bermuda, we're planting mangroves. And we're doing Life on Land in Anchorage, Alaska in November. Really, really cool topics and really cool places to do this. The programming is all going to be handled by SRAG. And if you haven't heard of SRAG, the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. I can't put people on stage to say I can provide their credentials, but SRAG can. So if anyone is out there that has any interest, go to Zone 2832's website and you'll find all the information.
What is your favorite phrase of inspiration?
Oh,
Or something personal, or how you conduct your life, anything like that.
oh, that's easy. I conduct my life really, and again, this is going to sound really, really cliche, but I try to live my life by the motto of Rotary, right? Of the things we think, say, or do. I try to do everything that I can to answer the 4 questions, and I get yeses, for each one. I move ahead. And I will tell you, I'm not perfect in life, and there are times where maybe that hasn't been the case. But if you're asking what I inspire to be, and that's what it is.
So I have a couple of other quick questions, and one is, do you have a Rotary tattoo?
I do not have a Rotary tattoo.
Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I do not have one.
No, okay. And how are you going to celebrate when the world is polio free, when we've eradicated polio? How are you going to celebrate that?
Listen, that when that happens, not if that happens, that is a really long haul that's coming to an end, right? I mean, we started this campaign in the mid '80s, and nobody would have ever thought, and they wouldn't have signed up if they knew it was going to be a 40-year adventure. But it's really just the gratitude for all the shoulders we stand on, because it was the Rotarians that came before us, and all those who've raised so much in funding, who've gone on the immunization days. It's really a thank you to everybody, because this would have never happened if it wasn't for everybody who's current and was before. I mean, this is a Herculean effort, and it's absolutely incredible what we're going to accomplish.
What's your advice for an 18-year-old about Rotary?
My advice would be, because again, I joined at 20, my advice for an 18-year-old is, if you have an opportunity to be part of this organization in any fashion, whether that's Rotaract or Rotary, you got to jump right in, because, the doors that it opens for you, it's endless, right? I mean, it's not just what it could do for your career, but it's just what it does for you for life. You mentioned before mentorship. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've asked a fellow Rotarian, a fatherly question, or, a question about work or anything. I have all these people to turn to, and it's absolutely incredible. And I could say 18-year-olds don't have that opportunity every day to just be able to walk into a meeting and have that at their disposal. You join Rotary, you have that. And that's a really, really special thing.
Just bringing the screen up here. I have a few more questions, but
I was going to say, are you on page 3 by now?
I've actually got 4 more questions, Drew, but I'll have to wait for Houston. So I'm going to open it up, and for those that have a question, if you could raise your hand. I know I have to look at the big screen, or if Scott can help me identify someone who has a question, they can open up their mic and ask a question to Drew directly. Does anyone have a question?
Doc, go ahead.
Doc? Yeah.
I just have a comment, Drew. I'm from the Hamburg, New York area around Buffalo. I've been a Rotarian on and off since 1977, but my wife got me into the current club. She's an M&T employee, and she was the member before me. So just want to say hi, thank you. Glad you're in your position.
Thank you, Doc.
Nicole from Dunville.
Hi, Drew. I just wanted to say thank you very much. You've inspired me, because I'm a mortgage broker here in Ontario, and I'm really, really nervous about being president and having a full-time job. So you have inspired me.
Well, thank
much.
you for those comments, Nicole. And Nicole, I will tell you, I was on the residential side for 16 years in my career, so I totally understand where you're coming from. When I was president, I was a mortgage originator. When I was governor, at that point, I was running a region. But yeah, I totally understand your world, and it's a lot of juggling, but I'm telling you, it's worth it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Any other questions or comments?
And I'll just throw it out there for whatever it's worth. I feel I'm completely transparent. If you guys have any questions, like something you always wanted to know or whatever, or something behind the curtain, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. So you had one of those deep questions that you've never thought to ask. You feel free to ask it now.
Hey,
Carol,
Drew.
go ahead.
Thank you for sharing your experiences so far. I love Lisa's questions. They were very insightful as to what you've been through. Just to add to that, over the last 20 years or so that you've been in Rotary, is there anything that you regret?
That's a good one. Anything I regret? I don't know if it's a regret. Because I really try not to live life with regrets, in the sense of, and to my detriment sometimes, I lead, with my chin. But I will tell you, I've been in situations far too often where I have to really fight for whatever it is that I'm looking to bring forward. This is an organization that really means well. But in that same breath, I've gotten a lot of lip service in the past 20 years. And it's very easy to say that we're family friendly. It's very easy to say, we won't work in Rotary, but I'm the one who's testing it. And I test it like every day. And I can tell you, it doesn't always go down that way. And I push back, and I as I mentioned, I lead with my chin. So I don't necessarily say I regret it, but it hasn't, I will not tell you it's been, easy sledding the entire time. And even to this day, there are times where, I'm bringing my kids along, and maybe people who are organizing don't want me to be bringing my kids along. But if we're going to talk about that, we're going to be flexible and that we want family and Rotary, you got to do it.
Drew, we were kicking around this idea yesterday about Rotary being one of the best kept secrets in our communities. How do we make it not the best kept secret?
So this, I will tell you, is a North American problem, because if you have the opportunity, and I hope at some point you do, to travel the world and look for Rotary, right? If you were to go over to the East, whether it's India or other Asian countries, there is no secret there. Everybody knows what Rotary is. And I would tell you, it's unfortunately, we did a detriment for the first 100 years of the organization, that we did all this amazing work in our communities, but we did it in silence. And we took this, altruistic approach, which there's nothing wrong with it, but we didn't take credit for all the things that we did. And I think we're playing such a catch-up game right now that now we're getting into public image, and now we're trying to be front and center. So I think it's a timing issue, and really it's making sure, I don't want to say we get credit, because credit's a really bad word to use for it, but we have to highlight the things that we're doing in our community, and by doing that, I think people will, for nothing other, recognize our brand, right? And that's where you have to start, is for people to understand the logo and understand what Rotary is, and not have our new members have to go home and explain, because they're going to be asked, by everybody, what is Rotary? And there are many Rotarians who struggle with that question. So I think it's on all of us, but I do think the tide is turning, and I would like to think there's more and more who at least know what it is. And now we need to start moving some of the misconceptions about the organization, because it's definitely different than it was.
Do we have any last questions? See if there's someone with their hands raised. Yes, Jerry. Jerry has a question.
Yeah, I'm curious. Where does religion fit into your life?
Jerry, I like that question. I've never been asked that question before. So I am not,
by the way.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I hesitated to ask it.
No. I actually, I appreciate the ask, because I told you ask me anything, and that's an ask me anything question. So I've never been a religious person. I'm of the Jewish faith. I'll share that openly. I was raised that way, and there have been starts and stops in my life that I've attended. And again, I know how this must come across, but Rotary is my religion. I know that sounds really, quirky, but
I don't see that as,
because I'm a strong believer in the golden rule, right? Do unto others that you want done unto yourself, and it's the premise that it truly, if you follow the 4-way test, I mean, I don't want to say that's a religion, but it's a way to live your life, right? And I think the organization makes me a better person, because I'm striving to be that. And like I said, I'll have, my foul ups every now and again. But really, I would tell you, the time and energy has gone into this organization, as opposed to maybe going down the religion path or taking the time, because at the end of the day, we only have so many hours, given to us, and you have to pick and choose. And clearly I've picked Rotary, and I've picked my work and my family in that reverse order, because my family is first. But yeah, so religion, fortunately or unfortunately, is not, at the top of the list.
That was a very good answer. By the
Thank
way.
you, Jerry.
It's similar to the way I live my life. So.
That's terrific. That's great.
Well, I think this brings us to the end of Rotary Rapid Fire. Drew Kessler, you did very well. Thank you very
Passed?
much. Thank you for
Well,
opening up and sharing and being so honest and really imparting your life as you live your life as a Rotarian, and how your family is all part of living the life in Rotary, and you've brought everyone in. It's a real inspiring story.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for this invite. I want to congratulate everybody on the line. I mean, taking the role of president-elect or assistant governor or district leadership, these are such amazing roles in the organization. And truly, I would tell you, those are the positions that move us forward. It's all the positions I would tell you above president are there as resources. But the presidents are the one who truly, week in, week out, have to motivate our members and have to make sure we're providing the experience that our members are looking for. So thank you on behalf of senior leaders, and thank you on behalf of the organization. But congratulations, because if you haven't had the opportunity to do it before, it's one of those things where you will forever look back and remember the year you served as a Rotary Club president. My hope is that I see some of you in Houston. If not Houston or with Houston, I'd love to see you on the cruise or in Alaska. And if for whatever reason that doesn't happen, I will find a way, maybe in the coming year or two, to make my way to your district, whether it's for a conference or for whatever, or if I'm just visiting my daughter in Buffalo, I will most certainly try to find a way to say hello. So look forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it.
Have a great rest of
Okay.
your evening.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Congratulations again. Take care.